Hello and welcome to the first Adventure Bike TV of 2018. Happy New Year to everybody, and I hope you had a fabulous Christmas. Lots of adventure and motorbike related presents. Now this month's show is coming from Barnstormer BMW, and as always we're going to go straight into the bike review. Oh yeah, straight into the bike review. Okay, right, yes, the bike review. Well, it's been a while coming, we have been asked for it, but this month's bike review is the BMW F800 GS.
Welds in aluminium can fatigue and fail over time. That's why our panniers are riveted, like aircraft. Metal Mule, engineered to be different. Proud sponsors of the bike reviews on Adventure Bike TV.
The F800 GS Adventure has been with us since 2013, and there's been some big changes to this 2017 model to make it Euro 4 emission compliant. On the downside, the Euro 4 rules mandate ugly fork-mounted orange reflectors, which of course no one would remove before they even ride the bike off the dealer's forecourt. And the rules also mandate a malfunction light on the dash alongside the newly designed and more easily readable dials. On the upside, we get a new exhaust, full ride-by-wire throttle, which of course brings with it the now almost mandatory electronic riding modes, the spruced up dashboard and new paint finishes. The 800 GSA also gets new galvanized radiator trim and a revised ignition lock casing. In terms of the looks, aside from the revised paint jobs, the biggest single change to them are the redesigned end piece of the standard tailpipe and the HP Sport silencer by Akroprovich, which is available as an original BMW Motorrad accessory. Worth buying every day of the week, as it looks great. So it's fairly light touch changes on the looks, and the main changes are really focused on managing the emissions, and the ride-by-wire is a key component of that. Of course it gives you rain, road, enduro and enduro pro to cater for individual riding preferences. But most importantly, and just for a change, I think that's where an enforced change to the bike in order to comply with emissions management has really worked in its favour.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
The F800 GS has been around a fair time now, almost 10 years in fact. When it first came out, I thought I'd love it. Decent horsepower, slim and off-road oriented, and a good price. However, as is so often the case, the reality was somewhat different to the dream, and contrary to many others, I always felt that the 800cc twin engine was somewhat of a personality vacuum, and also that the 150-mile tank range wasn't really enough to mix it with some of its bigger contemporaries. What used to be a pretty uninspiring engine performance has been much improved with finer controllability and an improved response. Now, I'm not saying that the engine personality suddenly jumped from being an empty vacuum to a stadium rock concert, but it does feel more lively, and to my surprise, it was even knocking on the doors of the House of Fun.
In the past, I'd had a bit of a soft spot for the 1100, the 1150 and the 1200 GS, and a lot of that was down to its character. It was that combination of the unique boxer engine, that great big beak at the front, its beefiness. It felt purposeful, and I always liked it. And when this bike first came out, I felt it had inherited enough of that character to be a nice, characterful looking bike in its own way. Over the years, it's not always done that. But this latest iteration, particularly this one with the red and the grey, it's got it. I really love the look of it.
Unfortunately, the day of the test was cold and icy, so I couldn't really give it free rein. But I think if I'd been able to, the House of Fun would have been fully open. The 800 GS Adventure is already a proven globe-trotting adventure bike. Add your luggage and off you go. Now, with all the changes for 2017, it's not just a globetrotter, it's a full-blown 10 grand Harlem globetrotter.
Right, you know what, I have got no doubt that this bike will be a fantastically competent adventure bike. I could picture myself riding all day on motorways or back roads. I could picture myself riding off-road, and I think because of its heritage, it's quite oriented for that. The bigger question for me is when you start comparing it to the competition, because there's really not that much to compare it to. Really, it's the Triumph 800, and I guess at a stretch, the Africa Twin, but I'm going to put that one to the side, it's a bigger bike. So when you start comparing it to the Triumph, for me there's two things that stand out. I think this is a better, or will make a better off-road bike. I haven't been able to test it too much because of the conditions today. The Triumph has its triple engine, and therein lies the two big differences. On the one hand, you've got this bike, which I think would be a broadly more capable adventure bike. The Triumph has got the engine, and this engine has grown on me, but it's a bit flat compared to the triple. So would I have one in my garage? And that becomes a dilemma. Now this bike, I think more oriented off-road. The Triumph, the engine's got more character. But then if I was going to do something off-road, I'd want this bike. But if I was doing more of an adventure with more tarmac, I'd want the Triumph. The Triumph has got more character in the engine. Now they're going to pull stronger, but this would take me across the Pyrenees, which I don't think I'd do on the Triumph. But then if I wanted to go somewhere and do a track day out of the Triumph, such a dilemma. The thing is, when I do my adventures, I like to be able to ride off-road a lot if I can, so clearly the choice has to be the BMW. I don't think I've ever been in quite such a quandary about a bike as any of the bikes we've reviewed, so there's only one answer for it. I need a second opinion. Tom! Come on, second opinion. Tell me what I think, or what you think.
You know what, I've had a Triumph Tiger 800 XC. I loved it. Everyone knows I loved it. I kind of raved about it for ages. But I do think that when they went over to the XCX version and they, went by wire, which I know this is ride by wire, but I feel like it lost something then. And actually, I'm not a big fan of 1200s anyway. I like my smaller 800cc engines. So I think I would probably go for the BMW. But later this year, they're bringing out the BMW F850. So I might hold on to see what that's like.
So there is a kind of not so definitive answer at all, really, from both of us.
But I would have one in my garage.
Well, there we go then. That is a definitive answer.
I might swap it very quickly for the new F850 when that comes out.
There we go.
Depending. There you go. Can I go now?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Bye. There we go. There's the answer.
Our revolutionary patented Q-Fit attachment system allows panniers to be removed and fitted in under 5 seconds. Metal Mule, engineered to be different. Proud sponsors of the bike reviews on Adventure Bike TV.